Enough Said is brought to you by Sheldon Street Pizza. Visit them online at sheldonstreetpizza.com or stop by Sheldon's during your next trip to Lake Orion. Sheldon Street Pizza, the official pizza of Enough Said. And by Fourth Coast Cider Works. Quality craftsmanship, quality hard cider. You can check them out online at fourthcoastciderworks.com or come get a can or a howler at their Canterbury Village location. Not available for anyone under the age of 21. Please drink responsibly. You wanted to see where your program stood among the best in Division II, because if you want to finish that story and get to the playoffs this season, you knew you had to test yourselves against some really good competition. What were some of the biggest takeaways that you had from this loss this past weekend to Truman State?
Yeah, we had way too many penalties on the offensive side of the football, and that really set us back. We must have been in 20 on 4 or 5 different occasions. So obviously those are wasted possessions, and offensively you get maybe 10 to 11 possessions in a game, and if you take away half of those, well, it's going to make things really tough. So things really just couldn't get in the groove, couldn't find our rhythm on offense. So that made it difficult. We got to give Truman State a lot of credit. They had a great game plan, and they controlled the tempo, and they played their game, and we worked hard to try to keep them off balance. They were able to stay ahead of the chains, and they were behind the chains the whole time. And so that definitely was a challenge for us. But we battled back and tied it up, and 7-7 going into the fourth quarter, and it just come down to 3 or 4 plays, and I'll give them credit. They made the 3 or 4 key plays that were the difference.
Taking a look at how you guys did offensively, it was a big difference from what you guys have done the previous 2 weeks. But I saw a lot of positives in there too. Mike Ahoro, he played really well for you at quarterback this week. He was 12 of 18 for 145 and a touchdown. What did you make of his performance this week?
Yeah, he was solid. He executed well. He gave us a chance there at the end. So, Mike did a really solid job, and we just struggled a little bit up front. We had a few guys banged up, and so we had some new pieces in the interior of our offensive line, and it was the first opportunity. We had a redshirt freshman starting at right guard, and then we had a new center, and then we had a new left guard in. So. That we were hoping that, things were going to be a little bit more smooth, and it was going to be an easy transition, but, they were giving us some different looks and mixing their fronts up. And, so that was challenging. They were in a 3-down, then they were in a bear, then they were in an even. So they did a good job of, throwing a lot of curveballs at us and, forced our offensive line to think, and move slow. And, that really slowed down our run game.
Now, defensively, you had some really good efforts from a lot of guys. Brandon Rawls had quite a few tackles for you. I think he had 12 total. And Jacoby Sanders got a takeaway for you guys. He had an interception that ended their first drive of the second half. They looked like they were driving from you, and Jacoby was able to make that pick to slow them down a little bit. How pleased were you with the efforts that you got from your defense in this game?
I mean, our defense played their butts off. I thought they played really hard. We're physical. It's just to get them third down. Offensively on third down, we were 1 for 11. Like I said, a lot of those were third and really long. So those were almost next to impossible when it's 3rd and 25. Give Truman credit. They're offensively they converted over 50% of their attempts on 3rd and 4th down. So. They won the money down battle. And that honestly was the difference at the end. It's just those key plays on 3rd down and 4th down when when defense got to get off the field, or when offense needs to convert. And, we knew what we were getting into. They're a team that was 9-2 the year before, and 20 seniors returning, and they were fired up for us, and they played they played very disciplined and sound football. And, we had a handful of guys that didn't play their best, and that caught up to us at the end.
So looking ahead to this Saturday, you play Indianapolis at your place. What has been the mindset this week in practice as you try to regroup from this loss?
Yeah, it's really simple. Like, every player's got to be at their best, and you got to play at your best and perform at your best. So that's been the challenge. We have a lot of good football players, but all of our good football players need to play their best, when Saturday comes. And so that's got to be all the time. You got to do it on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. It's just that switch has got to always be on. And so we're excited for our opportunity this weekend. We got another really tough opponent coming to town. Playoff team from a year ago, a 10-win team, and we had our way with them a year ago. So they're obviously going to have a big chip on their shoulder based off what happened last year.
You face a Greyhound team that has won its first 2 games by a combined 40 points, so they are definitely off to a great start. This is their first road trip of the season. What will it take for you guys to be successful against them and send them back home with a loss?
Yeah, we just got to get back to doing what we do. That's offensively, like dominating the line of scrimmage and running the football, and then just being opportunistic in the pass game with our play action passes. And I think we're healthier than we were a week ago, so I'm excited about that. So we've got 4 or 5 guys that are back to 100%. So that'll make a big difference. Then defensively, we've got to eliminate the big play, and everybody knows like how good our front seven is, and so teams are throwing the kitchen sink at us, with trick plays and specialized plays and screens and different personnel packages to try to give us something that we've never seen before. So we just got to be ready to adapt and to check into the right call, and then special teams wise, we've got to play clean game.
How are you guys doing health-wise? Because injuries don't follow a schedule or a clock. They can show up at any time. How are you guys doing in terms of avoiding those injuries at this point?
Yeah, we feel good this week. We got some guys back. So I'm, the coaching staff feels very optimistic that, we're going to be able to put our best foot forward here and have the guys ready that need to be ready to go. So health-wise, we're going to be improved on both sides of the football this week.
Excellent, and I hope it stays that way throughout much of the season for you guys. Coach Ryan Brady, thank you so much for making the time this week. Best of luck this weekend against the Greyhounds.
Duff, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Want to hear more about Saginaw Valley State football? Then head to my website, aduffsaid.com. You can hear all of my previous conversations with head coach Ryan Brady, and you can listen to all the previous episodes of this podcast. If you would like to get an instant alert every time a new episode of A Duff Said drops, then all you got to do is become a subscriber. Just go to Podbean, Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Duff Tyler, reminding you that if Duff said it, it must be true, because that's what a Duff said. Here's Steve Gale.
Thanks for listening, folks. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.